Alrighty, if you just give us all a few seconds to go ahead and get logged in, I would just like to say good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining our 15th annual Accessibility Fest. My name is Anna and I'm Director of Operations here at Disability SA. You are in the Texas Technology Access Program, Connecting for a Higher Quality of Life with Dr. Anita L. Swanson. And I would just like to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wave Healthcare today, which has generously supported Accessibility Fest for 15 years. Special thanks to ACOG, HEB, and PCSI for their sponsorship that made today possible. The exhibitor booths for all exhibitors of all of our sponsors are anchored at the top, so please be sure you include them in your visit today. These are companies and organizations that have made today possible available to all of our attendees at no cost. Be sure to participate in the discussion, community boards, and a wide variety of topics in the community section of our app. You can schedule meetups for something in person or virtually. Many of our exhibitors are available to meet virtually as well. So be sure to see what times and be sure to drop on in. The leaderboard, passport, and photo sections can all be located at the bottom of your homepage on the app or in the left-hand browser in the web portal. If this all seems a bit foreign to you, please check our welcome message and you'll get familiar real quick. Now, this session is being moderated by a volunteer. So if she has any questions at the end, she will be sure to ask those. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Anita Swanson. Dr. Anita Swanson is the program coordinator of the Texas Technology Access Program. She brings an experience as a practitioner and professor of music therapy. Dr. Swanson has served in a wide range of clinical populations utilizing AT with individuals on the autism spectrum, persons with developmental intellectual disabilities, and adults and with neurological challenges. Dr. Swanson has published in several journals and frequently presents across the US and internationally. And we are so lucky and honored to have her today. So without further ado, the presentation is now yours, Dr. Swanson.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending this afternoon. I'm going to tell you a little bit about TTAP and then also about connections, especially in our world right now. So we abbreviate Texas Technology Access Program to TTAP, just to make it slightly easier to say. And our mission overall is to increase access to assistive technology for people who might need that. And that will give people more control over their environment and improve their quality of life by allowing them to function more independently. So if you don't know what assistive technology is, it is simply, well, it's a wide range of things, but it really is like if you have struggled doing something, maybe there's some technology out there that could help you do it. So I'm just going to go over a few items of assistive technology. And here we have some examples. On the upper left-hand picture of the slide is a photo of a handheld magnifier. So this can help you see things that you might be struggling to see. Not only in this picture, someone's just holding it up in front of like a cookbook, I think, or something that has food in it. And they are making the font bigger so that they can read it. But you can also hold this up, like if you're short and you can hold it up and reach to the top of the grocery store shelves and see what's up there by going up there and bringing it down to see. So that can be helpful for a wide variety of people. Underneath that, we have something that provides amplification. So if someone struggles to hear, especially those around them when they're trying to listen to their immediate environment, this can amplify the sound for you. And then to the right of that, we have something that looks a little bit strange. We have an iPhone. It looks like a pretty old iPhone, but it's connected to a rectangular object, which is called a switch interface. And so the switch is connected to that. So you'll see this big red button, which is called a Big Mac, and that is the switch. So if somebody hits this button, you can hit it with your hand or your head or any part of your body that you can move, that would activate the switch. So a switch we just think of as on or off. So this is going to activate the interface, which is then going to the iPhone. So you can control your phone by a switch. So if you're not able to use your finger, swiping, touching the little parts on the screen, but you are able to use something that could hit that big red switch, then you would be able to access all the apps on your phone. Obviously, it takes a little bit more time, but for someone who can't access it otherwise, it's very helpful. To the right of that, we have an alarm clock that is used for someone who's hard of hearing. There's several variations of this alarm clock. First of all, you can see that it has a lit up screen, which is fairly big, has big, large numbers on it. So you could have there's a flashing light above that. So when it's maybe the light, you could use the light to wake you up if the light is flashing. There are also some different tones and various loudness levels of them that if you do have some hearing, you could use. Or you can also see that there is a round object, and this round object can be placed underneath your pillow or underneath your mattress. And so when it's time to wake up and the alarm goes off, that would actually vibrate and shake. So shake you awake. So lots of different options for that. Then to the right of that on the screen, we have a communication system. So people who are unable to speak verbally, there are many options to communicate. Obviously, sign language is one of them. But another visual option is to use a form of technology. There are lots of communication apps out there these days to go on iPads and iPhones and other tablets. But the example list shown here is a standalone communication system, meaning you don't use it for something else like you would an iPad or an iPhone. Here you can see rectangular choices with pictures in them. And so in order to make your selection, you would have to hit the picture to select it, and then the system will speak it out loud for you. So you can do this different ways. You can select one by one, you can make a sentence, you can make paragraphs, whatever, so that it will then speak for you of what you want to say. And then below that, we have a toy. And so, of course, we want kids to be able to interact with their peers and play and engage in as much things that kids do, and kids usually play. And so here we have a Nemo bubble blower, which is attached to a yellow switch similar to the red one earlier. So you hit the yellow button and it will activate the toy. So in this case, the fish would go around and the bubbles would be blown out. So kids can interact with their peers and play with toys if they have trouble accessing them different ways. So these are just some of the examples that are available with assistive technology. I really just think that if someone has something that they struggle with doing or they're not able to do, it's really a matter of thinking about it critically and trying to solve this problem. Like how could we make this happen? How could we, or what could we do to allow someone to be as independent as possible? So there might be something out there to do that. And that's what we do, is we help people find the technology that they could use to help them. On this slide, it says how we help, and there are 4 main areas in which we help. The first is demonstrations of assistive technology. We have several demo centers listed throughout the state, and I'll show you those in a second, where people can go in and actually try out assistive technology to see what might help them. And of course, we have people there that will help and maybe help them narrow down what might be good for them to use. Currently, during COVID times, our demo centers are open mostly, but you have to make an appointment, whereas previously you could just walk in, so that we can limit the number of people that are there at one time. So that's a big part of what we do. Another large part, and especially right now, are device loans. So people can borrow technology and try it out in their home or their workplace and school, wherever it is that they need it, and see. And so this is pretty cool because you can try it in your environment to see if it's going to really do what you need it to do. But you could also, check out more than one type of thing, so you could narrow down what is really going to help you the most. And so whenever we do a loan, we ship it to you for free. You could have it for 35 days, and then we ship it back to us. Again, not costing you any money. So the main purposes of both the demonstration centers and the device loans are really to get you to figure out what is going to help you the best, so that you don't end up buying something that doesn't work. We don't sell anything. All of our services are free. We are just really about educating the public, public awareness, and then helping people find what's going to work for them. Another main part of our program is the recycle and reuse programs, and we partner with a couple of people to do this. And how this benefits others is that you can often get something for a reduced cost that's been used before and refurbished. So that can be helpful. And then, of course, assistive technology is not always inexpensive. And so we do have some avenues to help people out financially so that they can purchase the assistive technology that they need. So those are the 4 main things that we do at TTAP. I'm going to show you how you can access and get more information about those items. Oh, you know what? I think I shared the wrong screen. I think I shared that instead of sharing my whole desktop. So because right? I need to go back and reshare. Just a second. Okay. Okay, now you should be able to see our website, correct? If you can't see it, should give me a shout. But okay, so here is our Texas Technology Access Program website, and you can find many more information here. Actually, before I leave this page, I would love for you to connect with us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we have a YouTube channel as well. Anything that's posted on the YouTube channel, though, will most likely be posted on the other social media sites. So give us a follow there. I'm always sharing tips and resources for a wide variety of people, in addition to some new technology that we might be getting in. Okay, so in order to make a loan, you would go to the device loans. You can go to borrow a device. And here you can, this brings you into a different system that helps you make the loan. So say you want, you don't really know what you want, but you know that you need something that, let's go with, let's go with audio visual and see. And I'm just going to search that whole category. Okay, so it comes up with 7 things that are available right now. We have some headphones, an alert, a home alert thing. So the sonic bomb, that's another way to wake you up. A super bed shaker. So if you really need something to wake you up, there you go. So what you would do is you would have to set up an account, and then you could check these out and they would be shipped to you. So that is the device loans. There is actually a video about how to check them out if you struggle with the system, or you can always call us too. Then I mentioned we have demonstration centers looking throughout the state. We currently have demonstration centers in Odessa, Angleton, Bryan, Corpus Christi, Abilene, Tyler, Houston, Waco, Belton, El Paso, San Antonio, Dallas, McAllen, and of course, Austin, because that's where we are at. So you can go to these sites. Right now, I would definitely call them ahead of time to make sure they're going to be there, because some people are working remotely still. But you can see we are located in many parts of Texas, and we are expanding that. So we will be adding more demonstration centers soon. So if you know someone who lives somewhere where there's not a demonstration center close, hopefully we will be adding one close to them. So those are our demo centers currently. Then our recycle and reuse programs, we partner with Project Mend, you probably are aware of since they're in San Antonio. They do great work. We also partner, Project Mend is mostly for durable medical equipment. We also partner with the double click computer program, which has been very necessary, especially last year when all the students went remote learning and many people needed computers and other things. So if you're in need of a computer, the double click program is a really great way to get a refurbished one. It's super inexpensive, and they also will help set you up with like a loan if you're, and I think it's only $125. But if you're not able to pay that up front, then you can pay it over 3 payments, I believe. So, and if you have computers to donate, and they are in special need of them now. And then of course, financing. So this site lists some different funding sources that you might be available for you. And if you don't fall into any of these categories, then we can help you as well. We just received another grant that can help us for people who kind of fall between the cracks that can't get help somewhere else. So that's the main features of our website. And I'm going to go back now to this. You should be seeing the slideshow again. So another thing that we just added to our loan library are what we're calling smart connection kits or smart kits. And this was actually from a partnership with CAPCOG, the Capital Area Council of Governments, particularly the Aging and Disability Resource Center. And so they actually wrote a grant for some of the CARES money, and they partnered with us to get these kits to help people, older people, their caregivers, and persons with disabilities be more connected to their community and their loved ones. We already know that these typically people who are older or persons with disabilities are already somewhat isolated. And so the pandemic has not helped that at all. And so the goal of these kits was to really connect people back with others, to reduce isolation, to connect them with what they love, connect them with community resources and things that could help them through the days, and then also to connect to telehealth if you are doing telehealth appointments as opposed to going into the office. So just some facts about social isolation, which you have, I'm assuming you've seen many more articles about this recently because of the pandemic, but even before the pandemic happened, these are stats from 2020 from the Centers of Disease Control. And I will just read them to you. And the social isolation significantly increased the person risk of premature death from all causes, a risk that rivals smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. Social isolation is associated with about a 50% increased risk of dementia. Poor social relationships, characterized by either social isolation or loneliness, was associated with a 29% increased risk of heart disease and a 32% increased risk of stroke. Loneliness is associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide. Loneliness among heart failure patients is associated with a nearly 4 times increased risk of death, 68% increased risk of hospitalization, and 57% increased risk of emergency department visits. So these are just some of the stats out there, but I think you can see that social isolation is not a helpful situation. We definitely want to be reaching out to people that might be at risk of being isolated or being lonely. And here are some ways that we can do that by helping them connect through technology. So other studies, and these are a little bit more dated. The first one is from 2016, saying that communication and general information technologies provide the most benefit and accessibility for people who are at risk of isolation and loneliness. So a communication technology would simply be like a phone or an iPad, something you can do FaceTime with or Zoom like we're doing now. You can see people, talk to them, interact with them that way. General information technologies, basically the internet and things that you can find there. And then in 2017, there was another study done, and the results of that show that video calls with family members often decrease depression and loneliness in older people. And something we might not have thought about is like playing games online with other people can help build personal connections. We may not think about that, but if you are isolated and lonely, you can build relationships that would be beneficial for you online. By playing these online games, you're also providing cognitive stimulation, which they can then promote healthy aging. So a couple ways for people to connect with others and improve their quality of life is to be able to communicate with their loved ones and also do some recreational activities that could help them meet new friends or at least be stimulating them cognitively. So these kits are available for checkout as well on our site. And here you can see that it is a collaboration with a Capital Area Council of Governments. And I wanted to show you what were in the kits. We have 2 different versions. We have an Apple version and an Android version. So if you already have a preference between the 2, you can pick which one suits you best. In the Apple version, we have Alexa via the Echo Show 10. And we also have an iPad, of course. Those are the main 2 things in the Apple version. In the Android version, we have a Samsung tablet and the Google Nest Mini are the main 2 items. And then the kits are the same, with the exception that the Apple kit also includes the Zigbee spark plug adapters. And so those are actually, well, I'll show you actually in the next slide. You can plug them into your socket. So anything that plugs into an electrical outlet, you can then put this adapter into it, and then you would be able to control that with your phone or your tablet, whatever you have the app downloaded for. So you'd be able to turn on lights or fans or radios or whatever it is that you have plugged into that. So here's a picture of the Apple kit where everything's still in their box yet. We have the EchoShow 10, which if you are not familiar with this, a really awesome piece of technology that does a lot of great things, I think. We also have above that is the electrical outlet adapters I was talking about. To the left of that, we have the Philips Hue Light Bulbs. These are in both kits. Everything else I'm listing now are in both kits. These Hue Light Bulbs are special light bulbs that you can replace your old light bulbs with, and then control the lighting via your tablet or phone. You can also set them, like for security features as far as like coming on at certain times and timers and that sort of thing. And you can also get fancy and use different lights. So maybe you want like a blue light before you're going to bed to help you relax. That's possible as well. In front of that, we have the Ring doorbell, which can be helpful for people because you can see who is at your door. And even if you're not able to visually see them, you could communicate with them through this without having to get up from your chair and see, or opening the door, which of course could put you at risk. So that is another helpful thing. Again, could be controlled from your tablet. And we also have in these kits a power bank in case the power is lost, again, that you would still be able to use your tablet to connect with others if there's no power. So the Samsung kit is similar. We have the Nest Mini, the Ring doorbell, the Philips lights, the power bank, the tablet, and then in both of the kits, we also have a few things to help with telemedicine. So in both kits, we have a distance thermometer where you can take people's temperature before they enter your home. I'm sure we're pretty all familiar with this right now. Anywhere you go, we used to, in the earlier days of COVID, everyone get your temperature taken. And this will tell you not only the exact temperature, but there's a couple different ways that it can tell you whether or not it's normal or not. There is a sound associated with it. And then there's also the screen where like green is yes. If it turns green, that means it's good. If it's red, ooh, we should probably not let them into the house. Yeah, so that's helpful. You have a cardio mobile, which you can use. You can see in the picture here, it's just a small little rectangle and you put your fingers on the sensors and that can give you an EKG. Amazing technology. Who would have thought of this 20 years ago? But pretty cool. So you can run that through your tablet. We have an oxometer, which goes onto the end of your finger. And then we also have a blood pressure cuff as well. So you can get all of these stats so that you can then do telehealth with your practitioner as opposed to having to go into the office, whether that's due to COVID or whether it's due to lack of transportation, or, there's many reasons why it might be easier for someone to do telehealth as opposed to going into a place. So those are the things, those smart kits are available for checkout. And again, same system where you can have them for 35 days, try them out, and then ship them back to us. So they come as a kit right now, all of those things together, but obviously you don't have to try them all. So if you're just interested in trying a few of the things, that's fine. We'll still ship them to you, and then you can try those things out. So it can be really helpful. So I don't know if maybe you are helping care for somebody who doesn't live with you. And so something to note would be that you can actually control like the EchoShow 10 with Alexa from your own phone. So it's a way to help check in on somebody, even if they don't live with you. So, or you can, set up playlists for them or whatever, for music for them to listen to. So it kind of gives you a nice way of having a little bit more of a check-in, but not, having to run over there and see every time. Some other ways that you can connect with people and technologies used to connect would be screen readers. If you're visually impaired, we have several ways to help you read a screen. There's so many of us that are connecting to others through the internet, through things that are on your computer and or your tablet or your phone. And so you can get a screen reader to read you what is on that screen as opposed to having to be able to see it. If you are auditorily impaired, there are lots of different options for having a phone call. I know that phones can be very hard to hear on sometimes. And so there's many different ways to counter that problem. One of them is simply that there's a phone that looks like a regular phone, but it also has a box where it puts what the person is saying into it so that you can read it, kind of like closed captions. So you can read what they're saying, and then that would help you be able to have that conversation. And of course, if you use ASL, there is still the video call relay system as well. So you can see your ASL as opposed to other ways that might be more troublesome for you. These are just a few examples. There are many other ways to connect, but just to get your brain thinking about, okay, I see this problem. How can we solve this? What can be done? Technology is advancing every day, as I'm sure you're aware. And so there's many new things out all the time. We recently just got some new UBI duos, actually, where people have trouble, again, hearing, they can type back and forth to each other. Or if one person needs that, then one person can be typing and the other person can be reading, etc. So there's just lots of options out there, and just knowing that you don't have to know what they are, you can contact us and we will help you find them, find ways for you to be able to connect and interact with your world. So I also wanted to give you a couple other things. If you are someone that is looking for ways to connect with your community while still being safe these days, or maybe have just some reasons that it might be easier for you to connect at home. You may have seen some of these on the internet, is visit an art museum. So lots of art museums have their art in really high quality photos available for you online. Just some examples are the Museum of Modern Art and the National Gallery of Art. And all of these links I put in here, let's just go to the modern one real quick, I guess, maybe. And it takes you to the collections, yeah, and then you can pick. So here, the Modern Museum of Art has over 2,000 works, 92,000, no, it's 200,000 works total, 92 of the thousands of those works are available online. So pretty cool. I mean, you can like take a virtual field trip right from your computer. And I also wanted to give you things a little bit closer from home. So we are based out of Austin. Some of the things that might be available to you online at the Harry Ransom Center. I personally just attended an amazing webinar from them, and it's available on their YouTube channel. So you can be learning even when you're at home. And the LBJ Presidential Library also has a nice tour online. The Bullock Museum, basically all you have to do is type in museums in Austin, and then they might have something for you. In fact, this one, the Mexic Arte Museum, I just found this online a little while ago. And so it has a nice little video right away. It's online exposition. So they're like, a lot of museums are deliberately making things for online viewing because they know that many people need that at this time. So different ways to connect with your community. Okay, so we went over some technology that you can check out from us. We went over where you can find us throughout the state, some different things that might be available to you should you need other ways of accessing things, and then just some fun little field trips that you can take from your computer. So if you have any questions, please contact us. I listed the phone number here, 512-232-0740. You can also contact us through Relay Texas if you need that service. And you're feel free to email me, anita.swanson@austin.utexas.edu. So I think, yep, that was the last slide. Yep. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
There was a question in the chat by Alejandra Sanchez, and she wants to know what the requirements are to use this program or this service.
Good question. Yeah, the only requirements are that you live in the state of Texas. So we service the entire state of Texas. And if you have a loved one or a friend who lives in a different state, there's a program exactly like us in every state in the US. So if they live somewhere else, I can help connect you to where that, but otherwise, yeah, we serve the whole state.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm new in this. I'm most familiarized with Zoom, and so
Yes.
I didn't find the microphone. So thank you so much for the responding of my question.
Oh, yes, of course.
I live in McAllen. You mentioned McAllen, right? McAllen, Texas?
Yes. Yep.
And what is the name, I'm sorry, of the organization?
Let's just go to the who is there, because I can't think of it across
Okay.
the top of my head, of course. So yeah, let's just find it.
No, that's okay. Mhm.
Yeah, and I will say, it says persons with disabilities, but everyone as they get older,
I know.
you may not say that we have a disability, but you still might have vision or hearing issues. It would. So
Yes.
in McAllen, it is Valley Association for Independent Living.
Okay. I think someone works there. Ray Cantu, maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Well, Dr. Swanson, thank you for sharing your email. Should anyone have any questions that they didn't have a chance to ask, and thank you for your time this afternoon. We truly do appreciate it, and for you sharing these resources to the San Antonio and surrounding communities. So thank you so much for your valuable time today. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day, and feel free to check out our agenda to see the other presentations throughout the day. Thank you so much, Dr. Swanson. Bye, everyone.